I'd like to talk about ways you can use quizzes beyond just testing your students' knowledge. Since earlier I discussed things that related to the discussions and how those are graded in my classes, I thought I'd start by showing you my quiz I give at the beginning of the quarter to help students understand what's expected of them. So let's go into this quiz now. As you can see, I give my students 3 attempts at taking this quiz and no time limit. And that's because the purpose of this quiz is for them to learn from the quiz so that they really understand the content. And I'll show you later some other quizzes I use for other topics. So let's go ahead and preview the quiz, and you can see what kinds of questions I ask them. First of all, I ask the students to assess some sample answers to discussions to see if they can figure out how to score them. I'm not going to spend a lot of time in this. In fact, I'm just going to click through like a student who doesn't care might do and just randomly pick answers. As you can see, I've given lots of examples and they get to choose how many points they're worth. And so I'm just going to go through and do a few of these and then let's submit. And it's going to tell me, of course, that I didn't complete it, but that's okay. I just want to give you the basic gist of how this works. From here, I can go through and see that not only have I given detailed examples, I explained why this would be worth different amounts of points. Here is one example where the student gave this post some points and it normally would not. And I have explained why. And again, you can see here too, I gave a lot of explanation for what I was looking for and why this would be graded as it is. The point is not how, what I wanted to show you here is that the way that the feedback is given allows the students to understand what my thinking is on grading discussion posts. Not just how many points a post is worth, but why. And then hopefully that will help the students do better on their own discussions. It's also helpful because I can refer them back to this quiz in the future when they have questions about discussion posts. Let's go back to the quizzes and look at another quiz that I use in this class. So for this quiz, they're asked to listen to some music on Naxos Music Library because this is a music class. And some of the questions on this quiz are quite challenging for the students, but that's kind of the point. This is an additional, more interactive way of teaching them. So for example, it asks them to listen to pieces of music and this one and identify what kind of meter they have. And again, I'm just going to randomly select some answers. And again, my students get multiple attempts and unlimited time because my purpose is not to assess whether or not they are right on their first try, but more to give them an opportunity to learn from taking the quiz. So again, I didn't finish it, but that's fine because I just want you to see the kinds of feedback they get. So you can see that even when they're correct, I give them feedback about why they're correct and add some additional information. Here, for example, the answer isn't given to the students, but it does explain some additional details with some hints that if they had done the reading, they would know, oh, the beat is divided evenly, therefore it's not compound meter, because that's something they read about in this week's reading. Those are some examples of ways that you can use quizzes to help your students learn more. What I often find is, although they've already done a discussion on these topics, they really seem to get the topics much better and have a much firmer grasp of things once they've taken these quizzes. If you're going to use quizzes this way in your classes, it's really important that you make sure your students understand that that's the purpose of the quizzes and that it's not just about getting the right answers on their first try, but that they'll need to plan ahead to take some time on these and learn from the feedback, and then that they'll get multiple attempts. As I said, this is just one way to use quizzes, but I thought it might be one that people haven't thought much about, so I hope it was helpful. See you next time.